everybody. This is Deidre from Two Branch Farm. It's a pretty quiet and lazy day on the farm today, and thankfully, we have been getting quite a few customers that are coming out of the grocery stores looking for farm fresh eggs. And when I ask them questions, a lot of times they don't know the answers to them about just specifically about what kind of eggs they're looking for, etc. And so I was like, well, maybe this is a good time to do some education about eggs, just so that you are a more informed consumer. Let's go back inside and let's talk a little bit about eggs. We're going to take it a little bit at a time and maybe get you guys a little bit more informed so when you come to buy from me and I ask you a question, you'll know how to answer. All right, let's go. Okay, so let's get started. Before you even know anything about an egg, let's talk more so about the anatomy of a chicken. The anatomy of a chicken is almost kind of like, well, no, I can't even say even like, but there are some things in the chicken that equates to human anatomy, like the ovaries. So they have ovaries, an oviduct, and a cloaca, which is more commonly known as a vent. So inside of the ovaries, they're going to have all the eggs that they're going to have, just like a woman would. And just like a woman, they have to go through puberty or hormonal changes in order for those eggs to develop and pass through. When those eggs develop, they pass through the oviduct, which is like a long tube. And in there, it comes out with like the yolk and all that other kind of stuff. And then it gets encapsulated by the shell. And then it passes through the vent or the last opening that goes outside of the chicken. Now, the egg comes out of that hole, and so does everything else. But one thing that you need to know about the vent is that it has kind of like a flap. If you think about men and all the things that have to pass through that one long tube and how they have a little flap to kind of let things come out one way or the other, it's the same thing with the chicken. They have a little flap, and that flap will turn inside out. That way the egg can come out one way, and then once that flap is closed off, then poop and everything else comes out of that same hole. But that's how they're able to keep their egg clean from getting mixed up with poop and everything. You get it? Okay. So let's talk about the anatomy of an egg, right? So there are, I have notes that I have to look at because I know I won't remember them all, but there's like 8 things that go on with this egg here. All right, so the outside, of course, you have the shell. Within the shell, you're going to have membranes. The white part is called the albumin. Then you have the yolk, of course, which is the yellow part. Underneath the egg, you're going to have an air pocket. That's called the air cell. And then you're going to have the calice, I think. Anyway, you know when you open up your egg and it's that long white stringy thing sometimes? Well, that's what anchors the yolk on the inside. So when I shake the egg up, the yolk doesn't scramble. It doesn't go all over. It stays kind of like in one place. It's like a stringy thing that kind of holds the yolk right in the center. That's that. Well, outside of the shell, and this is where a lot of my customers have the most questions. On the outside of the shell, there is a small thin coating that the chicken lays, and it's called what we call the bloom. The bloom is water soluble. Okay, so when it's coming out of the chicken lays that bloom over the top of the shell so that the holes inside of the shell, because the shell is porous, are closed off. It keeps it antibacterial and all that other kind of stuff so that bacteria and things can't seep inside of the shell. Now, when eggs are processed, they are put through water solution to wipe that away because they want to keep the egg clean when you get ready to consume them. For some of us, we want to keep that bloom intact on the shell, which means that as long as they come out clean outside of the chicken, we don't like to take that bloom off. Why is that important? Because the bloom is what helps, one, keeps the bacteria and stuff from seeping into the shell, but two, it keeps it shelf stable. So you don't have to, and I'm going to get in trouble for this, but a lot of people choose to not put their eggs inside of the refrigerator as long as the bloom is still intact and the egg is clean. You can put it, a lot of people choose to put it on a countertop and leave them there until they're ready to use them. And then when they're ready to use them, they'll wash them off and then use the egg. Now, the FDA recommends that you always refrigerate your eggs at least 45 degrees or lower. And as a small farmer, I will do the same. You choose what's best for you. But just know that the next time I ask, do you want the bloom intact or not? I am talking about that protective coating on the outside of the egg that keeps bacteria from going through the pores and into the egg. The only time that I will take the bloom off of these eggs is when they come out dirty. For whatever reason, the girls may have been in mud and jumped in and jumped on top of the egg and now you got mud stuck to it. Or sometimes, for whatever reason, a girl may have pooped inside of the nesting box and it got on the egg. I'll have to wash that off. Of course, I never want to sell an egg that has that on there. But for whatever reason, the only time that I will take the bloom off of our eggs is if there are dirty eggs and I need them clean before I sell them to you. And I will always ask, or my husband will always ask, do you want the bloom or do you want them washed? And as long as we've washed them, we will always refrigerate them before we sell them to you. That way they're ready to go. All right. I think that's it for this part. Stay tuned for some more education.